Shall begin. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators of our beautiful, beautiful community for the month of January. We are exploring one of the foundations of a Buddhist practice. And I'd like to speak about this foundation in a very general way, and then we'll make it applicable to the specifics of recovery. So this foundation is the Four Noble Truths. And the Four Noble Truths, very simply restated and reimagined, are as human beings, we are going to experience discomfort in life. We're going to be dissatisfied. We're going to be hurt. We're going to have pain. We're going to suffer. That's just part of being alive and being human. And a way to address that, the most effective way to address any kind of discomfort we experience is not to resist it. And that's a really difficult thing to do because sometimes, when you think about it, when you go to touch something that's hot, the first thing we do very naturally and involuntarily is move our hand away from it, get away from the pain. So there's an aspect to pain that involuntarily invites that resistance, that aversion, and that could be a very healthy, save our life kind of thing. The issue is that we've over-applied that reactivity for any kind of pain. And in doing so, we don't take the time to understand the conditions of our discomfort and our dis-ease. And that is the second noble truth, to understand that discomfort and its conditions. And when we do, we experience some harmony, some peace of mind, some ease. And the fourth noble truth is, this is a practice. So with that, I'd like to go ahead and set the intention. May you experience compassion and share it. May you experience compassion and share it. Yesterday, one of our Sangha members brought forward a personal experience of denial. And they asked me, this Sangha member asked if I would touch upon denial a little bit. And I'm going to today. And I'm going to present denial as a habit energy that causes us to suffer. I'm also going to bring forward denial as sort of sister to another habit energy, which is defensiveness, which also causes us to suffer. And I'm going to bring these two words forward by reading and sharing with you 10 synonyms for each. And my reason for bringing forward synonyms with these words is twofold. One is it cultivates a practice of wise speech. We change up our language because even our words can become an expression of habit energy. We use the same words over and over again, and we over-apply them. We sometimes have for instance, the word defensiveness, being defensive. If we use the same word over and over and we over-apply it, we might be causing some casualness and some generality to that word and forget that there are very positive associations to being defensive. But when we're over-applying it, we can forget and fall into that state of unconsciousness, habit energy. So, I'd like to share with you some of those words. We'll begin with the word denial. And the first word, the first synonym I absolutely love, and that is contradiction. Rebuttal. In a state of denial, we're in a state of dismissal. Here's a good one. Disallowance. Refusing. Refraining. Rejecting. Non-acceptance. Refuting. And withholding. When we are in a posture of denial, remember, friends, we are often in a state of resistance. This is not always a bad thing. In the context of recovery, however, and in the context of substance misuse or any kind of habit energy that results in some kind of misconduct, it also results in distortion, confusion, ignorance, harm. And so when we are in those states, when we are in a mind state or a reactivity state that is distorted, confused, we are most often in a state of negative denial. We are rejecting, we are disallowing, we are resisting. We are, surprise, surprise, probably uncomfortable, suffering, hurting. And that impulsive, reactive way of dealing with that is to ignore it, get away from it, numb it, soothe it. And what we're doing here is we are endeavoring to simply, yet profoundly, be with it. Create the conditions around us by simply dropping into the body and reminding ourselves, wow, would you look at all this discomfort? Look at all the ways that I am resisting. Look at the way I am telling a story that this can't be happening, this shouldn't be happening. Look at that habit energy. Look at that reactivity. Wow. And more importantly, look at me not looking away. I am with this. I don't like it. I don't want it. And here I am, not denying its presence. That's amazing. And it's a practice. And so we invite the body to remember its power to breathe. And while that can feel so simple, almost annoyingly simple, one of the most important things to remember about the body and oxygen is that when we increase the oxygen load in our red blood cells coursing throughout our body, we improve the body's function, its ability to make neural connections, its ability to digest and process toxins in the body, its ability to strengthen muscles and add flexibility, its ability to strengthen bones and our inner scaffolding, its ability to clear the mind, get rid of the clutter, to see anew. Amazing power in the breath. So let's take a moment and just breathe. Let's just enjoy a few cycles of breath, breathing in, breathing out. Don't worry about the mind. If the mind is distracted and telling stories, just allow it the full freedom to do that. We're just breathing. And if you'd like to add a little discipline to your breathing practice, bring your attention to either your belly or your nostrils and simply observe the belly expanding or the air entering at the level of the nostrils on the inhalation. And on the exhalation, notice the belly contracting, pulling inward, dispelling the air, or notice the air leaving your nostrils or your mouth. Pick one and bring your attention fully to your body and the extraordinary act of breathing. Friends, one of my favorite expressions of denial, one that I have engaged a lot in my life. I was masterful at this particular expression of denial in my early 20s, especially prior to finding Buddhism, was to say to people, "I'm fine." Oh, really? Yeah, I'm fine. Which is code for get away from me. Don't look at me. Don't see me. I don't know what's going on. Just, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And what's really funny about that particular manifestation of denial is its contradiction. Because especially in my youth, I would want to be seen and acknowledged so long as nobody could see me and acknowledge me. That's the contradiction. Pay attention to me. See that I'm hurting. Ask me how I am, except don't do any of that. Go away. Right? It's such a conflicted and contradictory state. And that particular expression, that particular manifestation is also sister to a defensive posture. So I'm keeping people at arm's length when I say I'm fine. Frankly, I'm keeping myself at arm's length. I've put up all kinds of distortions so I cannot see myself. And no one can really see me, and I'm defensive about it. I'm protecting something. This is so incredibly human. So let me read for you some synonyms related to the word defensive. And I've got a good one in here, one that I had never even heard of before, and so I can't wait to share that one with you. All right, so synonyms for the word defensive. Shielding. Opposing. Balking. Protective. Guarding. Coping with. Umbrageous. Hang on just a second. Let me see if I can say it again. Umbrageous. Umbrageous. Umbrageous for any word geeks out there. Umbrageous. And it means easily offended, touchy, shady, suspicious, twitchy, and thin-skinned. Umbrageous. Kind of goes hand in hand with the next synonym, which is neurotic. Oversensitive. Wary. To exercise denial, to exercise defensiveness, is to be human. However, in being human, we also have the propensity to create the conditions for suffering, for pain, for harm in ourselves and by extension for one another. So while we are human, seeking a spiritual experience, we are also spiritual beings trying to understand the depth of our humanness. And so we apply spiritual practices to really understand these conditions so that we can get at our incorruptible nature, which is wise and good and beneficial. Its limitlessness, its capacity to be loving and kind and compassionate and joyful and free. So we have to look at the ways that we engage with denial. And this is why we look at different words, because different words give us different access points to the same concept. Likewise with the way that we're defensive. In recovery, and when we are engaged with our habit energy, we deny its problem, its harm, because we're protecting its value to us. Many people who engage and have a relationship with substances, for example, do so because those substances served a purpose, a very positive purpose. They were soothing, they were numbing, they were helpful to eradicate a pain that a person may not have had the tools, the capacity, the ability, the support to look at the hurt associated with that pain, that trauma, that suffering. And so that individual turned to the next best thing, some kind of substance. And it worked. Until it didn't. And in that place where it's not working, the mind, the brain may have become disordered, so one's capacity to be critical in their thinking, curious in their thinking, open in their thinking was limited. And so in that limited mind state, there are no options. I don't know what to do. I'll be lost without my substance of choice. I'll hurt even more without my substance of choice. I don't know what to do without it. Maybe I have all kinds of feelings of shame and guilt. Maybe I've gone so far down the road that I don't feel like I'm salvageable. All of those narratives are behind the scenes that we're shielding, that we're protecting. It takes an extraordinary amount of courage and humility and trust to be able to put the armor down, to be able to put the shovel down, the hole that we keep incessantly digging, to put it down and to trust somebody's eyes on us, saying, "Hey, I'm worried about you. I don't think you're doing well." "Oh no, I'm fine." Really? Are you in a place where we could talk about what I see? Nope. Go away. I'm good. I got this. And we suffer. And so this practice isn't about, at least this one today, what I'm bringing forward, isn't about how do we shift that in other people. The practice and the invitation is, how do we shift that within ourselves? We've all encountered it. I'm worried about you. I'm fine. So in that instance, in that reflection for yourself, this is a practice of self-awareness that simply says, oh wow, look at that habit energy. Can I take a deep breath and recognize I'm practicing a little bit of denial here. I'm a little bit defensive. Can I get curious about it? Wow, would you look at this? I wonder what this is all about. Because maybe when I say I'm fine, maybe that's true. Maybe I am. And it's probably not the whole truth. So what else is true? Somebody is seeing me and they're worried about me. Somebody is taking a risk and they're asking me to trust them. Somebody is trying to connect to me. Somebody is trying to love me. Can I open just a crack of possibility for that? And maybe in this moment, the answer's no. And maybe in this moment, with a whole lot of compassion for myself, I invite that to be okay. No, I'm not going to let anybody in. I'm not going to let anybody love me. My protection is very, very strong. Okay, I see that clearly. I'm going to breathe. And in that posture of breathing, maybe I can get a little curious. Why am I so defensive? Can I soften just a little bit? Maybe I'm not open to this person, but maybe I'm open to someone else. Maybe that someone else is me. Stay curious. Use the breath as the anchor and the vehicle by which you access your clarity. You access your awareness and your acceptance. Self-awareness and self-acceptance are to me like the morning sun on a foggy day on my farm. And the fog is my mind and my heart, my denial, my defensiveness, and I'm just with it. I don't try to tell the fog to go away. I don't try to tell the fog to be something it should be. I just simply notice the fog, observe it, and then allow the warmth and the rays of the sun to slowly dissipate it, to allow the rays and the warmth of my self-acceptance, my self-awareness to dissipate the confusion, the fogginess of my own denial and defensiveness. And in time, I open to the wonder of my life. And lo and behold, I heal just a little bit. And that is enough. Right. All right. Let's go ahead, friends, and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. It is something truly extraordinary to aspire to heal ourselves, to aspire to understand the conditions that cause us to feel pain and suffering and grief and confusion. It is extraordinary to aspire to create the conditions for healing, transformation, security, confidence. And it is profound to aspire to bring all of that knowledge, that wisdom into the body, into the mind, into the heart, so that by extension, radiating out, we can bring healing, transformation, wakefulness, love to all living beings, to life itself. This is why you're here. We were all created for this work. It is our truest nature. I'm so honored to practice with you. We'll see you next time. Namaste.